is a god of the game.
Welcome back everyone to SportsCharcha after a week's break. Euros is here. Is football really that important after witnessing what happened to Christian Erikksen? COVID can delay the game by 2 days, but a cardiac arrest can't. Italy playing good doesn't matter. Lukaku's brilliance doesn't matter. Schick's outrageous goal doesn't matter. But here we are to do what we can do, which is to talk about all the action that happened in the last week. Also, we have Copa America, managerial changes, and the first time ever in the history of Sports Charcha. Let's go.
Absolutely world class.
Hey everyone. International football is back. I mean, we are back after a week's break. Sorry for the break. We'll have to start this with a sincere apologies for not doing the season review part 2 because of various reasons. And the events that happened last week reiterated the fact that football is definitely not the most important thing in the world. Yeah, I mean, we have tennis and cricket too. But yeah, here we are with updates, previews, our predictions, or wishes for Euro 2020. I mean, yeah, it is Euro 2020. It's 2021, but the tournament is still called Euro 2020. And like every week, we have our co-host Eeshaan and dear friend.
Hi guys. Sorry again for last week, but I think we'll cover it up this week.
Great. So we're not going to waste any time as we have lots to cover, both on and off the field. So we'll start with the Euros. So you guys can stretch a little bit. You know, listeners can grab your beer, popcorn, chai, coffee, matlab jo bhi, whatever works for you. And we'll start with Group A, which has Italy, Switzerland, Turkey and Wales. And there were 2 games, Italy versus Turkey, that ended 3-0. Were you surprised?
Actually, I wasn't, because Italy is probably the most informed team coming into the Euros that nobody has spoken about. Ever since Mancini took over the Italian squad, they've been playing beautiful football. We don't associate an Italian squad playing attacking football. They're known more for their defensive solidity. But, you know, they're such a great team to watch right now. And they showed that in the game against Turkey. There was never any doubt. Turkey is not the same Turkey we've seen in the years gone by, where, you know, they have some stars and they somehow are known for, you know, upsets, etc. But I think it was an expected result. I didn't expect it to be so one-sided, but it was a great team performance by Italy, a great performance by Jorginho. A big shout out to him, because the way he controlled the midfield was amazing to watch. Lorenzo Insigne, again, you know, he had 3 attempts at a curling shot, same position 3 times in the match. He muffled it twice and finally scored 1. So Italy is looking very strong in this group, and I see them topping it.
Yeah, and Lorenzo Insigne's goal, as he said, that's actually his goal. That's how he scores. For guys who have seen Napoli, that's how Insigne scores. That's his trademark style. And yeah, even I was surprised to see him miss a couple of earlier shots.
He actually scored that kind of a curling shot goal from almost the halfway line against Madrid a couple of years ago.
Yeah.
Same shot.
Yeah. Now, Italy, as you said, haven't lost a single game since September 2018. And they won all their groups and qualifiers. And generally, when people talk about Italy, they don't talk about midfield. They generally talk about defense and their prolific strikers. But this Italy side had great midfield. And just to remind our listeners, this is the first time Italy are playing an international tournament without Buffon. I mean, probably ever since maybe Brutus stabbed Caesar. So yeah, I don't remember last time I didn't see Buffon playing for Italy. I mean, as you said, wasn't really surprised. Turkey was very disappointing. I mean, they were one of the dark horses of this tournament, but they were pretty disappointing. They were very shaken after the first goal. Yeah. First half was very tight, but then hopefully they'll come back in their next games. The second game was Wales versus Switzerland. Not a great game, actually. It was a pretty boring game, to be honest. It ended 1-1. Wales were very lucky to actually get a point out of the game. I really don't have a lot of things to talk about the game because it was not a very great game.
Unfortunately, shows my lack of things to do in my life. I actually spent time to watch that game, hoping that Gareth Bale might do something. But you're right. It was a very dry game. Nothing actually happened. Switzerland should have got the 3 points out of when you compare both the sides, they were the better team. Wales will, the way Wales celebrated after the final whistle was like they won the match, and that showed who should have won the game. So yeah, it's going to be interesting, this group. Obviously, as I said, Italy, I see them topping, but the second place is going to be it'll be interesting because I won't count Turkey out as yet. As you said, they are known to pull something out of the hat, and they might cause an upset.
Yeah, so even I think Italy will qualify from this group straight away. So let's go to
Yeah.
the main talking point of this week, the Group B game between Denmark versus Finland. I mean, this game was a historic game for many reasons. It was Finland's first ever international game in their history. But this game, let's just don't talk about the game, but what happened in the game towards the 45th or the 46th minute. Uh, Christian Erikksen of Tottenham, Inter Milan, he just collapsed on the field while receiving a throw in. And initially, it just felt like he just fell down because of fatigue. But then immediately, Anthony Taylor, the referee, spotted something serious. He quickly called in the medical staff. Simon Kerr, their captain, who raised to him, who gave him the initial first aid, and then the medical staff came. It was really scary. I mean, I was watching it live, and for that moment, I totally forgot about everything that's happening around the football, the Euros, everything, and it was really really
Yeah,
scary.
you're right. Like, I remember, like, you put it on our group, and then I was not watching the game, and then I turned it on, and I sometimes you just do not believe things are happening in while you're watching it. Like Christian Erikksen, for a lot of people who don't follow Serie A, he's one of the great Scandinavian midfielders of our time. He's probably, if not the best midfielders coming out of Scandinavia. And to see him, and sometimes life is so fickle in that way, right? Like, footballers are known to be the peak, in the peak of physical fitness, and it can happen to them as well. And just watching the crowd, watching the players, you've seen this before. We've seen a lot of players collapse, and a lot of things have gone wrong, and more often than not, things have really gone wrong. So immediately your mind goes to think the worst. And thank God, thank every Nordic god there is. He's okay, he's stable. But I want to ask you something. What do you think about, and that's one of the main controversies coming out of the match. As you said, the match became irrelevant. Nobody, and that applied to the players as well, because they were not in the right frame of mind. But 1 hour later, there was an announcement that the match will go forward. What do you think about that?
When I heard it for the first time, I was like, wow, these players are brave. I mean, this is brilliant by the players. This is great. But then later on, as the news started unfolding, as we started hearing about what happened exactly from various sources, it was a little disappointing the way UEFA handled it. Because as per what Peter Schmeichel's statement, I just saw it today. I mean, listeners, Peter Schmeichel is Kasper Schmeichel's father. So Peter Schmeichel said that UEFA gave them 3 options. Option 1, you play now. Option 2, you play tomorrow. Or option 3, you forfeit the game, 3-0. So the players discussed and said that this is the least bad decision to make. In fact, their striker Martin Braithwaite, he came out and said this is the least bad decision that we could take to play the game then and there, because it will be difficult for them to come back and play the next day. I thought this was not very great handle, but I can understand from the organizer's point of view, no one would have expected this to happen, I mean, this kind of thing to happen.
Yeah, like as rightly the Bala equivalent of ESPN FC, Gab Marcotti, said that, giving them an option of playing now or tomorrow is not going to be any better. What happened on the pitch,
Yeah.
you cannot just like erase in the next couple of days. So I think the Danish coach also said, let's get this match done with. And, Martin Braithwaite, for
Yeah.
those of you who don't know, one of the greatest Barcelona strikers, he said, like, what he said was that, it's the least bad thing that could happen. But I think the result could have been better for them. I know under circumstances, but it's still a Euro. So they'll have to get their heads right. It's going to be very tough for Denmark to get their heads in the right place. But knowing that he's fine, he's in a better off, that should be a good motivation for them to pick up their performances and qualify, because they're supposed to, based on the group.
Yeah, I mean, again, we are reiterating the same point that the match in itself at that point seemed irrelevant. The whole news that Christian Erikksen is fine, like he's awake, he's alive. In fact, based on what the Denmark's the doctor said, that he was actually gone, quote unquote, he said he was gone for a few minutes, that he had a cardiac arrest and they had to use the defibrillators to bring him back on. I mean, thank God that he's alive and he's in good spirits. He apparently spoke to the players. He made jokes on him being at a better place right now than the players. So good on that part. So, and Finland won the game 1-0, and we could see the way the Denmark players played. The goal was a poor mistake from Schmeichel. Then Denmark had a penalty that was saved. So Finland won their first ever game.
Yeah, it's all down to they were not in the right space. Have you ever seen Kasper Schmeichel make a mistake like
Very
the
rare,
one he
very
made?
rare.
You don't. So that's obvious proof that they were not in the right headspace. But also, I think not related to football, but at that very same time when this was happening, we had the Faf du Plessis injury as well. And we were literally like, what the fuck is going on in the world of sport? Like, this cannot be happening. So yeah.
Anyways, good that everyone is fine. Faf is fine. Christian Erikksen is fine. So life goes on. Football goes on. That means we'll talk about the next game in the same group. Belgium versus Russia. Belgium, one of the favorites. Easily one of the favorites, and they played without Kevin De Bruyne. We all know had that injury in the Champions League finals. They played without Hazard. I mean, Hazard came in as a substitute, but he didn't start. But yet they won 3-0, and they didn't even get out of third gear. And how good is Lukaku?
Lukaku has become, I'm telling you, he's one of, if not the most informed strikers behind not named Robert Lewandowski. In Europe for sure, and probably in the world. But I have a big funny thought. Like they said, this is one last chance for the Belgian golden generation. I mean, the Belgian golden generation has lasted longer than the Roman Empire, and they still haven't delivered. When I say delivered any silverware. This year, this might be their year. We've said this before many times internally, but the way they played, as you said, they didn't have to try very hard. Yes, Russia again, like Turkey, are not the old Russian team. They don't have, stars coming who are doing big things in Europe anymore like they did. So yes, Belgium was easily the favorite, but they had it very easy. Like I think again, favorites for the group.
Yeah, Belgium favorites for the group, and I believe it's between Russia, Denmark, and Finland to finish second, third, or fourth. And just to remind you guys that we have 6 groups, so top 2 from each group will go in, and 4 best third place teams out of the 6 groups go to the round of 16. So all's not out for any of the teams. So finishing third is not bad. So we can keep our hopes for Denmark, Finland, or Russia in this case. And let's move on to Group C, where we had 2 games, Austria versus North Macedonia. Nothing much to talk about other than the fact that Goran Pandev, I mean, older football fans like me, like Eeshaan, might remember Goran Pandev. He played for Inter Milan, the Champions League winning Inter Milan team. He's still playing, to tell you guys, he's still playing.
Unbelievable. Is he? And he's still bald, half bald.
And he scored. And he scored their first ever international goal in a major tournament. So that's great for North Macedonia. Even though they lost, I mean, Austria's quality came in. David Alaba, Arnautovic. I mean, all that quality came out and they won the game easily 3-1. But the most interesting game happened after that. Probably the best game of this tournament so far.
Yeah, easily, without a doubt.
Netherlands versus Ukraine. It ended 0-0 first half and they scored 5 goals in the second half. It ended 3-2. Easily the best game of this tournament. Full end-to-end stuff, full action. It was great to watch.
Finally, we are seeing the Netherlands we expect. They've been, to be honest, absolutely horrendous under De Boer. And, and nobody's actually given them a shot this Euros. So they should probably capitalize on that, minimal pressure, because they are one of the big heavyweights of European football. But, great game. What a amazing game. So good to watch. This is probably what we expect from Euros. So I hope there are many more games, but I still won't actually call them favorites for the group. Because Netherlands have if you saw them in the qualifier, they couldn't buy a win. They were very lucky to qualify. So it's going to be interesting. It'll be fun. Yeah. I'm a Netherlands. I love the Dutch national team.
Same here. I also have a soft corner for the Dutch team.
You have it for a lot of ex-Barca legend reasons. I have it just because I like them. But it'll be great.
Yeah, I remember the first time I saw Dutch in the 1998 World Cup, the Bergkamp, Patrick Kluivert. That's when I kind of started liking the Dutch team. That's when.
The first time I started liking the Dutch national team was in FIFA 98, the football game. But what a team that was, by the way.
Anyways, so let's hope the Dutch team does well this time. Hopefully, I don't see them reaching the semi-finals, and if they do, that will be a great tournament for them. I see them going maybe till the quarterfinals maximum. All right. Yeah. So that wraps up Group C, and we have Group D. So just to remind you, listeners, we are recording this on 14th June, Monday night. Is about 10:25 p.m. So as of now, we have had all the games till Group D. So we have had 8 full games, and as we are talking right now, Poland and Slovakia's first half has happened. It's 1-0 to Slovakia. So Group D also had 2 games, which is the England-Croatia, which ended 1-0 thanks to Raheem Sterling second half goal. It was a good goal. It was actually made by Calvin Phillips, the Leeds United player. Calvin Phillips, he was actually brilliant. He had an amazing game. But England International, it was pretty the usual England International game that you see. Not a very free-flowing game. England had a lot of good chances, but I thought Croatia was bad.
Yeah, it was we were talking before recording that it was a very amateurish game. Like, crosses were not going properly. It just felt a little off. But England got the job done, 3 points to them. I'm just glad that, there are not too many fans, and then that bloody stupid chant of the last World Cup doesn't exist. For all you guys who don't remember it, just to annoy you, it's coming up. Bloody, it's the worst chant in the world. I used to like England, but I think after that chant, I hate them, detest that national team. But, they've got really good players for this tournament. But they're just bloody boring, man. I don't know what happens to them when they play for the national teams. They just don't have a style. And Raheem Sterling scored a very good goal. Yes, you're right. But what will happen to them against big teams later on in the tournament? That will be the test.
Yeah. We'll see what England does. But the best part for them is Croatia is by far the toughest opponent in that group, and they came out with a win and a clean sheet, and that too without Harry Maguire in defense, without Jordan Henderson in midfield. So all the other players played very well. Gareth Southgate made a controversial starting lineup with Kieran Trippier playing on the left. So a lot of people were very surprised, but then he justified that selection with a victory. Now, coming back to the second game that just happened like 3 years back. We have had 8 games so far. We have seen some superb goals. Like, to name a few, Yarmolenko's goal against Netherlands for Ukraine. If you see that goal, it was a brilliant goal. Yeah. Austria's second goal, which was David Alaba's cross. It was an amazing cross. And after seeing the cross, I was thinking, will Real Madrid play him as a defender or a midfielder? I don't know.
Yeah.
But to top it all, we saw probably the goal of the season, probably the goal of the year. It will probably win the Puskas Award by Patrick Schick. If you guys haven't seen that goal, please go and watch it. It must be there in some platform somewhere. Wow. My God, Oh,
I mean, we've seen a lot of great halfway line goals over the years. Obviously the famous David Beckham one, Xabi Alonso. But this was just out of the blue in terms of like, you knew at a point when Xabi Alonso and Beckham were taking it, you knew that they were setting it up. But this Patrick Schick was in motion. He was running with the ball, and if you see it from a front on camera, he just has a second glance up and he sees the goalkeeper off his line. And to just have the balls,
yeah.
you're an international player, just have the balls, because 99% of the chance you might look like a fool. Uh, but to have that ball, the audacity to take that shot, and what a goal, man. Like, you're right. It'll be very tough for this goal not to win the Puskas award. And even Zlatan's not playing. So,
Yeah. So that's Group D for you. So England with 3 points, and Czech Republic with 3 points, and Croatia and Scotland with nil points right now. Moving on to Group E, as we were talking, Poland and Slovakia's first half is done. As I was saying, Slovakia leading 1-0 with the Szczesny own goal. I haven't seen the game. I haven't seen the goal, so we can't talk about it much. But let's talk
yeah.
about the next game that's going to happen tonight in another 2 hours, which is Spain versus Sweden. I mean, Spain wouldn't have started this tournament in any worse way. If you thought that Spain started World Cup 2018 very badly, this kind of like took over it, with all the COVID cases running around, with no Real Madrid players. I am actually scared for Spain. Would they even qualify out of this group?
But I find it really funny, right? Like, COVID cases, yes, it's a pandemic, but how can an international team, when you're supposed to be in a bubble and there are so many rules and regulations around you, how can you have so many cases coming out of it? It's just unbelievable. And I think Jordi Alba said it in his press conference that, it's a mess. The situation is a mess. And it is, because, Spain are almost like how Barcelona have been. They're a direct, like, after their golden age, they've just dropped.
Yeah.
Like, the quality of football has dropped, the style has dropped, and obviously they don't have a recognized like a leading forward striker. And I worry. You're right. I worry for them. Probably not today against Sweden, but I definitely worry for them if they make it through this group, when they play the attacking squads who will put them under pressure. It'll be a challenge for them.
I mean, how many times we can say that Spain's midfield is not good? Spain's midfield is not good.
Yeah, that's true.
Their midfield is not good at all. I mean, they have Thiago Alcantara, who's okay. He's a good player, but I mean, one part of the problem is this generation is actually immediately after the greatest ever Spanish generation ever. I mean, they are the reason for their own problem right now, because it's very tough to follow up your Xabi Alonso's, your Busquets, your Xavi's, your Iniestas. It is tough, but the drop in quality is tremendous. And as you said, not many great strikers. I mean, they have to rely on Moreno, who actually had a great season. To be fair, he has had a wonderful season. You can expect some goals from him, but he's definitely not Torres or David Villa. I mean, you can't expect that level of quality from him.
Yeah, and the thing is that, if you look at the Spanish squad, they have names, but those names don't go together.
Yeah.
Like, if the golden generation of the Spanish team, when they won the World Cup and the Euros back to back, they had a center midfield. 4 of them used to play for 2 clubs.
Yeah.
Right? You had Xavi and Iniesta, who are the masterminds of the Spanish midfield. They play together on the daily. Then you have Xavi Alonso, who can play blindfolded. Right? And then they have a forward line of David Villa, Fernando Torres, who at that time used to score goals for fun.
Yeah.
Right? And then you have Ramos and Piqué in defense. So, meaning, it's going to be tough. But then look at what they've done with the squad. Like, Ramos is not there, fine. But they replaced him with Raul Albiol.
Yeah.
Raul Albiol is turning 50.
To top it up, they didn't even take a 26-man squad. He took a 23-man squad. I mean, I don't know. We'll have to wait and see. The only thing I miss in this game, I was totally looking forward to when the groups were announced to see Ramos versus Zlatan. I'm very disappointed that's not going to happen. I don't know will that ever happen. Maybe next season Champions League we might see, but yeah, hopefully we'll see that one time. Anyways, Sweden, any hopes? Not much. I mean, they have a decent team. They have Kulusevski, they have Lindelof, but they're a good team. We'll see. We'll see how they'll do.
Can't believe you just said Lindelof as a they have.
Yeah, he's a name. He's
The only
a famous
time I
name.
say Lindelof, I say he has a hairstyle. That's the only thing he has. But no, but Sweden is a tough team. They are,
Yeah.
they don't have the big names, but they are not an easy team to break down. You're not going to be scoring a lot of goals against a Swedish side. And when you're talking about Spain, who anyway struggle to score goals, it's going to be very difficult for the Spanish team to break them down.
True. Now let's move on to the group F or the group of death or the group of life. I mean, there are so many names floating around for this group, but let's just call it the best group. And tomorrow night and like probably Wednesday Indian time 12:30 a.m. we have France versus Germany, which is probably the first ever big game, quote unquote big game of this tournament.
Yeah.
But yeah, going with the recent form, you will have to say France. I mean, France are obviously the biggest favorites of this tournament. But
Yeah.
with Hummels and Muller back, do you give Germany some chance?
No.
Okay.
I definitely do not think Germany have a chance, especially with the way they played. Yes, their last game was a 7-1 victory, but the game before that they were horrible. But the thing is, what's going to be interesting to watch is how much pressure do France put on themselves. You're seeing the cracks come up a little bit right now. Is it the media? I don't know, or is it directed from internally? Is Deschamps trying to create some friction just to get the attention away from the pressure? We don't know. But, the Giroud, Mbappe friction. Obviously, there is the Benzema, Giroud friction. Will they all come to a head when it matters for France? I know France versus Germany is the biggest game, but it's not a group decider. It's not the most important game in the context. So they should probably take comfort from that. But it's going to set the standard. Like if Germany get a result out of France, it'll give a lot of other teams who are probably the second, third, fourth favorites that, they can probably also topple France. So France have a lot more to lose than Germany. Germany are very happily coming into this game as an underdog. And as Cruz said, like, we just have to play our game. If we get the result, we get the result. It's going to be a great game to watch. It's definitely not going to be boring because France don't play that way. And the new Germany also, I have to give them credit. They don't win to as much as we are used to Germany winning, but they don't play boring football. So it'll be a good game. I still feel France is just too strong, man for man. Like, come on, like they're the best.
Yeah, even I'm giving France to be the favorites, but I have some feeling that somewhere Germany will come out and probably make it tough for France, and we'll see. The other game is between Hungary and Portugal. Again, Portugal had a COVID case. João Cancelo had tested positive, and they've already called in a replacement.
But why is he out of the tournament is what I don't understand.
Who? Cancelo. Yeah, he's already out of the tournament. They have replaced him with Diego Dalot. I think they don't expect him to recover quickly, and even if he recovers, I think he has to go through a certain set of protocols to come back into this team. So it's better to replace him quickly. And
that's quite a big loss, huh? That's quite a big loss because Cancelo had a great season with Man City. He's been in form, and that's one of the weak points without him in that in the left back. Left back, right?
I mean, he
left
starts
back.
as left back, but he kind of pretty much plays in the midfield. So, I mean, at least.
How many goals do you think Ronaldo is going to score this Euros?
I don't know. He's definitely looking to score that 7-8 goals to take over. I forgot the player's name. Iran, right?
Ali Dai.
Yeah. That's what he is looking at. But yeah, I don't think he'll score that many goals. To be very honest, Ronaldo has had a very off season. Yes, he scored 29 goals for Juventus. He ended up winning the Golden Boot or whatever the Italian equivalent of it. But he actually played very badly in all the clutch games for Juventus this season. So to be honest, I don't expect a lot out of Ronaldo this Euros. We'll see. But again, that's the best part of this Portugal team. Cristiano Ronaldo is not their best player. Yes,
Yeah,
he's not the best player. I mean, they have at least 2-3 players who are better than him. There is Bruno Fernandes. There is Bernardo Silva, who's had a great end to the season. He didn't have a great start, but he had a great end to the season. There is Jota, who's been pretty good. And then you have Ruben Dias. I mean, he won the best player of the EPL. So this Portugal team is just like, talent is like hanging out of everywhere. I mean, you can just pick and play anyone.
Yeah.
But my only problem with problem with Portugal. Problem with Portugal is their coach. He's a very defensive-minded coach. So I'm not sure how is he going to use this overflowing attacking talent to express themselves. It'll be interesting to see.
I like how you never mentioned João Felix.
Yeah, but he's been very on and off this season. He's not actually gone to that stage where we'll consider him to be a starter. I don't think he will even start. Do you think he will start?
Unlikely, because they've got so many players in that same position. You got Guedes also.
Oh yeah, Gonzalo Guedes. I forgot.
Then you got Andre Silva.
Andre Silva, my God, how did?
Yeah, exactly.
God.
So they have a lot, and man, you're forgetting Ruben Neves. Meaning they're just players coming out of the bloody fucking cracks for Portugal. So meaning they're a very strong team, and again they're going to be one of the favorites for the tournament as well.
Yeah, great. So we are done with all the 6 groups. So we'll see. And just to give an update, guys, Poland has equalized. So it's 1-1 now. And it's not Lewandowski. It's Karol Linetti. I don't even know to whom he plays for. Anyways, let's quickly go through our predictions. So Eeshaan, winners. Quickly, who's going to be the winner?
Winner of what?
Winner of Euros.
Bro, I would say France.
France. Yeah, even I'm going with France.
I don't think there has ever been one team so strong, so above the rest in its going into a tournament. It's unbelievable.
True. The last time I remember this was back in, I think, 1998 when everyone expected Brazil to win. I mean, they lost to France eventually, but they did go to the finals. I think that was the last time I remember on an international tournament there was one team who were obvious favorites. So
but if you are a betting man, any one of you listeners, I would put money on Italy.
Italy definitely. The only problem I thought Italy will have is scoring goals, but they scored 3 against Turkey, so we'll see.
Yeah.
Losing finalist, who you think will France play against?
Hey, losing finalist and all is a little.
Bata na ek naam.
England, chal.
England. I'm going with Belgium. I think Belgium will reach there.
Belgium not going to make the finals, bro. Guaranteed. They're going to play France.
Okay. You're thinking that they're going to meet France and lose. Okay, surprise package.
Italy will be a surprise package. But I would also say Netherlands.
Yeah, I thought surprise package Italy if you had asked me 2 weeks before, but they're not a surprise package anymore. So I'm going to go with Czech Republic, especially after seeing the way they played against Scotland. So we'll see. Golden Boot winner. I think this should be pretty easier.
I would take a risk and I would say Giroud.
Ooh, interesting. I'm going to go with Lukaku. I'm not going to take any risk here. All right, one last one. Best young talent.
I don't even know who's young.
Actually, that's true. The definition of young has actually become very vague. With Jude Bellingham coming in when he is 17, even 21-year-old, 22-year-old look old. Okay.
I would say Phil Foden.
Phil Foden, not a bad choice. Phil Foden is a great choice. Yeah, I think I can think of only him. But I have this Belgian striker, Jeremy Doku. So I think he might probably turn a few heads around. So we'll see if Jeremy Doku can do it.
You can't have the Golden Boot winning and then the Doku also doing well. Now somebody has to. One person can score.
My second best team is Belgium. So Jeremy Doku has to do well. All right, guys. So that's for the Euros. So let's quickly get into our speed point section where we quickly go through the headlines that's happening around the world in the world of sports, to be precise. So, first one, apart from Euros, another international tournament has started. That is the Copa America. After a lot of controversies, after a lot of problems, it's finally happening. It's happening in Brazil. It's supposed to happen in Colombia. It didn't happen there. It's supposed to happen in Argentina. It didn't happen there. It's finally happening in Brazil. Even the Brazilian players were against it. But you know what? All's done. They are going on. They are playing. Two games have happened. Brazil beat Venezuela 3-0 and Colombia beat Ecuador 1-0. Brazil actually obvious favorites. Quick points. Anything you want to talk?
Easy favorites. They've not lost a game in yonks.
Yeah.
They're dominant. They're second. Colombia is in a strife internally with James Rodriguez being given the cold shoulder. Argentina is just Argentina. Nothing happening. Copa America should probably be Brazil's to win or Brazil's to lose.
Yeah. I mean, they are more favorites than France to win Euros, I would say. Easily.
Yeah, because there are not too many bigger, equally heavyweights in that continent. But yeah, you're right.
All right. And now talking about the managerial appointments that keeps happening, Maurizio Sarri, you guys remember Maurizio Sarri? He is going to coach Lazio, which was announced very interestingly by the Lazio Twitter account with a cigarette emoji.
Oh, wow.
Did you see that?
Yeah. That's going to be a lot of cigarettes in the Olympic Stadium.
I was expecting a chewed cigarette. It was actually a lit cigarette.
Oh, God. But yeah, good appointment actually. Like Simone Inzaghi, who was their manager last year, moved to Inter Milan. So they need somebody who is of a certain caliber that has their experience in Champions League. So it made sense. He was out of a job. So yeah, it made sense for that appointment.
Yeah, and it'll be interesting to see Sarri versus Mourinho, Lazio versus Roma. So Serie A, guys, next year Serie A is going to be crazy next year. So do watch out for.
Yeah, I'm so happy that Serie A now is one of the leagues to watch because it used to be the league to watch before the Premier League got rich. So I'm really happy next season again is going to be entertaining because you're going to see a broke Inter Milan defending their championship against a broke Juventus and a resurgent AC Milan team, Napoli. All of them will be better off. So it'll be very good to watch.
Talking about Mourinho to Rome, we have Fonseca, who is the ex-Rome manager, to Spurs. I think that's pretty much imminent. I mean, based on whatever I have seen from various trusted sources in Twitter, that he could become Spurs' coach pretty soon, which also adds to the point that Fabio Paratici, who's the ex-Juventus sporting director, is now Spurs' sporting director. So that's about managerial changes. Quick player updates. Gini Wijnaldum signed for PSG.
He did a splitsvilla. Gini Wijnaldum did a splitsvilla. He was on a hot date with Barcelona and then he looked back and he saw a pretty Parisian face and he said, "Ooh, Paris looks sexy." And then he said toodaloo to Barcelona and joined PSG out of the blue.
Yeah, and
like Gini Wijnaldum was supposed to join Barcelona for the last 4 years. And when he actually moved, he didn't go to Barcelona. He moved to PSG. Unbelievable. Only Barcelona can fluff up transfers like they do. Like nobody, I've not known anyone to do it like that.
I mean, they weren't ready to offer as much as what PSG was offering him. So it was a clear case. And PSG, again, talking about them, they are getting very busy in the market. They are going to sign Donnarumma. It seems to be that also almost done. So it's not official yet, but looks like that's also done. So again, a great signing. So enough of football. We are going to have a first time ever in the history of SportsCharcha, a non-football update. We have a tennis update. Novak Djokovic won the French Open, his 19th title, and he became the first ever player in the Open era, first ever men's player in the Open era to win all slams at least twice. And Barbara Krejcikova, I think I got the pronunciation wrong. If not, apologies for that. Won both singles and doubles. So it was great. I saw both the semifinals and the finals. It was breathtaking tennis. It was brilliant.
I think the bigger news is that Nadal didn't win.
Yeah.
But what a final that was between Djokovic and Tsitsipas. Tsitsipas is going to be the talent of the future. We've actually, men's tennis has been craving for a name
really, man.
other than the top
Really.
four. I'm a little personally disappointed with how Roger Federer is fading out in his career. It feels like how Michael Jordan was refusing to retire, and then you saw the worst of him. I would hope that doesn't happen with Federer. But Novak Djokovic, man, like, I'm not a Djokovic fan, but you have to give it to this guy in an era where, when we talk about tennis to our children, we're probably going to talk about Nadal and Federer, not talk about Djokovic. There's a very good likelihood he might end up winning more Grand Slams than both of them. So that shows is a testament to what a great player, one of the all-time greats. Great French Open, actually, to be honest. Finally tennis is back to being interesting. It had lost its touch for a couple of years.
Yeah, and talking about women's tennis, I mean, you're talking about men's tennis, that this 4-game, like pretty much these three guys have been winning everything for the last, I don't know, for 20 years. I don't know how many years they have been doing this. But the good thing that the women's tennis is actually producing more and more new talent. In fact, this is the 6th straight year that the women's single champions at the French Open was a first-time Grand Slam singles champion. So that's pretty refreshing to see. So good to hear it. And best of luck to all the players. And hoping to see a much better Wimbledon too. And also we have the World Test Championship starting on the 18th June between India and New Zealand. So hoping to see a good game.
I'm very scared. I'm very scared. The way, for you guys who watch cricket, I know most of you who are listening to us do, the way New Zealand dismantled England. Unbelievable. Meaning it was a destruction beyond belief, and I'm very scared for India in this finals because it's not a one day. It's not, you can't say it's on that day who can win. It's bloody 5 days, and New Zealand are just too strong right now. It's going to be very difficult for India to win. I don't know if how many players of ours are in form. It's been a while actually. It's rare that we can say that it's been a while since we've seen India play.
So great. All right. So that's about it, guys, for today. So we will be recording again on Thursday night. We will talk about the games that happen in the next 3 days. And we'll do a very quick preview of the World Test Championship between India and New Zealand. So that's going to start on 18th June as we just spoke. So if you haven't subscribed, I don't know what are you waiting for. The episode is almost over. So please quickly go and hit that subscribe button wherever you're listening this, and keep looking out for more episodes on on other sports also. We're not just going to talk about football. As I just said, we are going to talk about cricket too. So great, guys. Have a great week. And whosoever team you are supporting, hope they have a good Euros. And whosoever team you are supporting in the World Test Championship, hope.
Okay, guys. So for everyone who doesn't know this, Bala is insistent on calling the World Test Championship the World Trade Center. I have no idea. If we have any Americans listening, sorry, he doesn't do it on purpose.
That's just looking at the WTC, like it keeps bringing World Trade Center. World Trade Center.
How many times?
How many times? Okay, guys, on that note, thank you very much. Have a great day and have a great week. Bye-bye.
Bye, guys. Bye.
Thank you everyone for listening. If you enjoyed what you heard, please make sure you hit the subscribe button, and also please, like we are literally begging, to rate our podcast on whichever app you are listening to. It not only helps us, but also new listeners to easily find our podcast. You can also reach out to us on Twitter @SportsCharcha. A big shout out to the Jam Room Audio for our theme music. You can follow the Jam Room on Facebook @The Jam Room Audio. Bye.
Absolutely world class.